Matty Fresh on the track up at State. And I'm bringing to you live my boys Alec and Nate, Tequila Ty, Jay, Nelly, and Zillin in the building. So kick it back, pour the drink. We chillin' because I'm boozing and betting and ballin' like I'm 2-6 in the blue kicks. Watch me move quick. Yeah, this the blueprint. So who's getting involved? Welcome into the show. This is Booze, Bets, and Ball, baby.
And welcome back in. We are excited to get started on our 2025 season previews. The actual preview we will do next week with Nate, but today we're going to try to get a little bit into the position groups, talk about them, break down depth and talent of all the 10. I guess we'll go with 10. We won't really count special teams, but 10 position groups. So I'm going to try to share my screen here. That's always a mess, but we're going with that. We're going to take a look at this nice depth chart that was made for me so I didn't have to make slides. You know, that's great. A lot of pop-up ads on here, though, so we're just going to deal with that. But we will obviously start with the position that gets talked about the most, and that is quarterback. Getting Drew Aller back for his senior year was not something I think many of us expected a couple years ago. Had the Orange Bowl gone differently, maybe he's not here, but here he is. He's back for his senior year. So Penn State gets him back at quarterback. We could touch on him and his development. I think that's more something tailored for the season preview itself. But kind of looking at everyone behind him at this point, because Bo Papila is gone off to Missouri, and Penn State now does not have that surefire backup that they had last year. And we saw in the Wisconsin game where, you know, it mattered. And we've seen the 2021 Iowa game. You know, we've been through this where not having a backup screwed seasons. And I'm a little worried about this because Jackson Smolik is coming off an injury, wasn't a highly regarded recruit the way it was, someone they flipped from Tulane, stuff to like. I don't think anyone has him penciled in as the future of the program. There's Ethan Grunkmeyer, who has been given some praise as a possible replacement to Aller. I don't know if he's ready right now. And then Beckham Kritz as a project all the way, just not happening as a true freshman. So we like Aller. We think we have a future first-round pick here at quarterback, but behind him, there's not a lot to love right now.
Yeah, I mean, no, behind really no one. I feel like it's definitely going to be a portal type of year next year. When Drew enters the draft, they're going to probably try and get someone. I mean, I know they've liked Grunk in camp, but he's still going to be like a redshirt sophomore next year?
Yeah, which, I mean, that's when Clifford took over. That's when McSorley took over. So that was kind of part of the course with Franklin before Aller, but
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, no one beyond him has any experience whatsoever in a game, really. And it's just gonna be the same thing how it was for Drew this year. Like for Nevada, try to get Drew out as quickly as possible so Grunt can get those snaps in games, just in case, God forbid, Drew does get hurt. We need to put someone else in. Which, if that is the case, then we're gonna have a huge issue. But hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah. We don't really put depth there. But it's hard to, at this day and age, like, Bo had to go. Like, you're getting offered money and a spot in an SEC school. Like, no one's going to sit behind anybody anymore when you can go anywhere to get money and get paid.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of why getting a guy like Jackson Smolik, you have to do. You can't just recruit a 5-star or a 4-star every year. You got to get the project guy who maybe eventually moves on, but he's not moving on after year 1 or 2. Maybe it's year 3, year 4, where he moves on and tries to become a starter somewhere because he's still developing and he still is an okay backup for a couple seasons for you. So, you know, you still have to do that kind of stuff. You know, you brought up the whole get Drew out as quick as possible thing, and I think it puts them in a weird spot because, as we're going to talk about, he has all brand new receivers and he doesn't have great, or not great, but a lot of experience with what's left of the tight end room. So Drew almost needs to be in there getting live reps with these guys. So it does put them in a little bit of a predicament into how much do we want to give Smolik and Grunkmeyer, but how much do we also have to worry about the team this year and making sure that our quarterback is on the same page with all these new weapons he has.
Yeah, I mean, that's also true because we play Oregon week, 4 or 5? So, like, they have to be clicking right away.
It's week 5. There's a bye week.
But, like, yeah, we don't play basically anybody till Oregon. So they have all those, I guess, practice games to lead up where they have to get clicking before Oregon gets to Beaver.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I guess that is true. I don't know how early you can really take them out.
Yeah, I mean, so that's something, though, for another day, so to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is doing here. I'm trying to get the full screen on. There we go. All right, so moving on. Another position where we were pleasantly surprised with guys coming back was that both Nick Singleton and Katron Allen came back. And I think before the season, we thought both were probably gone. Maybe at some point in the year, it got to maybe one comes back. Maybe Katron transfers. I know that was a thing, too, for a little bit. They end up getting both of them back. And not only did they get both of those guys back, but no one behind them transferred, which is crazy. This only goes 5 deep, but Penn State brought in 2 highly regarded recruits as well. They are 7 deep in the running back room this year, with Cam Wallace coming back from injury. So this is crazy. The combination of talent and depth with this unit, you just touched on how with the quarterback position, guys transfer when they don't get the starting spot right away. It's with other positions too, and especially one like running back where there's really usually one guy on the field at a time. Now, yes, Penn State does too, but the majority of teams just have one bell cow, and Penn State's been able to keep this entire room happy, and that's with the position coach changing as well. So this is a remarkable group, honestly, and I think when we look back on this, maybe some of these guys do end up somewhere else, but we might look back on this group in 5 years if they're all off, their college careers are done, and the majority of them are drafted, and be like, this might be the best group Penn State had when you realize they collected 7 guys at once.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was crazy. I thought Singleton, I guess one of them should have definitely went to the draft. I mean, it's good that we got them both back, but we're so deep. We didn't need them both. But, like, Corey Smith, I think he's going to be really good. Cam Wallace got hurt last year, right? Pretty sure. He was
one. He broke both his ankles. It was something pretty serious like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I know he did play a little bit before, and he was pretty good. Yeah, Quentin Martin, I know, was supposed to be really good. I mean, he was a really highly rated recruit, but he's really young still. So yeah, I mean, it is pretty insane that we still have everybody there. Considering honestly forgot Sawyer went to Notre Dame until you brought that up again. Like, I totally forgot about that because no one left. Like, you would think when a position coach of that nature that's been so big for us, like Singleton or Allen would have followed him, but they didn't. So that's huge.
Yeah, and the one thing I do like about this, and I don't want to get too far into it, but with Stan Drayton coming in, you have Allen and Singleton up front. You don't really have to worry about them, but now Drayton can develop all these younger guys behind them and kind of turn them into his guys in a sense. So it really works out because you got the 2 guys up front. You don't really worry about, then everyone behind him, he could get to work with. So they're all still, as you mentioned, pretty raw. So, that is a positive as well. The one thing you brought up, Quentin Martin, they tried to get gadgety with him at times last year, just because, he's a bigger back, I think listed at 6'1", try to get him in the slot, trying to get him some reverses, stuff like that. With Pribula and Warren both gone, I wouldn't be surprised if there's an uptick in his trick play usage this year. That is something I think to keep an eye on with him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, but it was a big part of our offense, so we'll see what happens.
All right, so let's move on to the position that everyone loves to talk about, and that's receiver. Trey Wallace out of here, Amari Evans out of here. Julian Fleming out of eligibility. So pretty much the whole new starting group coming in here. Liam Clifford, Tyseer Denmark, really the only two notable returners. But the three new transfers headline this group: Kyron Hudson, DeMonte Ross, Trebor Pena, and the true freshman Kobe Howard. They have him highlighted there with the fourth team. I think he will work his way up to that second team pretty quick, considering everything coming out about him in camp so far. So you have to add him when you look at the notable additions. He would be the fourth behind those three transfers for me, but none of these guys are probably that go-to stud. I know Ross had over 1,000 yards last year that was playing at Troy, and Pena led the country in receptions, I'm pretty sure, but Syracuse threw the ball like crazy. Penn State's obviously not going to do that with how good the offensive line and run game is, but on paper, I feel a lot better about this group than I did watching the Orange Bowl, that's for sure. I mean, I really don't know what more there is to say.
It can't get worse.
Yeah, it can't get worse. And I think the best way to put it is if they're average, Penn State has a really good chance because the rest of the offense is so good that the truth is the receivers were a net negative last year. If they don't even have to be a positive. If they're a zero, it's an improvement. And this offense that put up nearly 34 points a game last year, could be pushing 40 with just an average receiver group.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, our wide receiver's been the only reason why we've been honestly, like, all the Ohio State games were always so close. If we make a big play with wide receivers, we probably win most of those games, all of our big games. It's been the biggest issue that we've had on offense, but I really like our wide receivers that came in. I mean, Hudson is kind of the least proven out of all of them, but he's also, I think, one of the maybe the most athletic wide receiver that we have. But like, I really like Pena. He was really good at Syracuse. I know they threw the ball a lot, but he's really good. He's really shifty in space. He's a good slot guy. And Ross, when I just watched him against Iowa, like, he's so fast. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna have him. I assume he'll be special teams for us too, punt returner.
Yeah, I was going to get into that. I do think him and Pena both have experience returning punts and kicks. So, Penn State's special teams goes to another level too with these two guys. So, this is multifaceted in terms of their impact.
Exactly. But yeah, Kobe Howard, I've been seeing a lot about how great he's been. And then we're going to get to the defense. Like, him and Coleman have been the big names for camp so far for, like, younger guys. And then for wide receiver, I mean, other than that, I know, like, Franklin has been saying Denmark has been good. I mean, we haven't really seen him too much in games, so we'll see. Yeah. But, like, yeah, I know other than them, like, yeah, Liam Clifford, but we've had him for so long. I don't know how much better he can get than what he's shown already. But then, like, yeah. Dude, Caden Saunders got hurt again.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. They have him listed at third team here. That is obviously not going to happen. He's already announced out for the year. I feel for him, I really don't know where he goes at this point. This was year 4. I think with a medical red shirt on top of a red shirt, he could have 2 years left. I really don't think they're here, if I'm being honest. But, it does suck for him. He was a highly regarded recruit, good friends with Drew Aller coming out of the recruiting process. A lot of people thought they could be that next connection, quarterback receiver connection that Penn State's had a few good ones lately, like Clifford and Dotson and Trace and Hamilton. So, like, there's been a few, but that unfortunately doesn't look like it's going to come to fruition. But this group overall, I feel a lot better about it than I did however months ago. Was that 8 months ago now already when I'm that Orange Bowl? So it's not Ohio State, but I don't think they're going for 0 catches in a bowl game. So, I think we're heading in the right direction. All right. And then last of the skill position groups, tight end. Look, we know Tyler Warren, the Mackey Award winner, the best that we've seen by far, I think, despite how good all the guys under Franklin and before that have been. Just what he brought to the table was not ordinary to say the least.
Yeah.
But this group now goes from kind of that, the workhorse to strength in numbers, which I think could work in their favor. You got Khalil Dinkins, the vet, great blocker, maybe an underrated pass catcher, just didn't get a bunch of looks. You got Luke Reynolds, who, draws the athletic tight end comp, the Brock Bowers, the Kyle Pitts type. Andrew Rappelé might be might be the most well-rounded tight end of the group. Honestly, you just didn't see it last year because he's tore his ACL after the first game of the season. But he's kind of that guy that got like the Freiermuth comps. More of that well-rounded guy. So I'm interested to see how he looks coming back. Joey Schlafer also in the mix there. Andrew Olesh, the 5-star true freshman. He's kind of like on that Luke Reynolds mold, more of the receiver type. I think they'll let him grow into his body this year and not ask too much of him. So really those top three, Dinkins, Reynolds, and Rappelé, none of them are Warren. No one is going to be. But I think the combination of that trio at least gives you enough where they all do something else good, where combined you kind of get a Warren in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously no one's going to match Warren ever really in our offense, but like having Warren was nice, but also in a way it hurt us because we didn't have anybody else to throw the ball to. Like we just abused him the whole time. And this year we have a lot more equal offense with tight ends, running backs, and wide receivers, not just tight ends and running backs. But we're just abusing either just checking it down to running backs or the run game, or using Warren any way possible, whether it's him direct snap or snapping the ball and then going out for a catch or whatever he's got to do to get the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
Like this is it's gonna make us a lot better. Like we're not one dimensional. I mean, you can just triple team Warren. What we're gonna do? I mean, we still tried to throw the ball to him even when it was triple teamed. So like, he would be more open with 3 people on us than our wide receivers would be open last year. That's how bad they were. But like, I really like Luke Reynolds. I think he's going to be really good. But yeah, I think like Franklin has said, like Dinkins doesn't get talked about enough because he's always been kind of under the radar tight end for us. Doesn't really go out there to catch the ball, but just goes in there to body slam someone and get the 2 yards that we need. And this year will be a lot. It'll be in there like probably the most, but also like, I don't know, it'll be good to see. I mean, I'm excited to see our tight ends. Like you said, I mean, we have 5 stars across the board. Anybody in that goes in can make a play. So it will be strength out of numbers. They're all different tight ends, but it'll be good.
Yeah, Dinkins reminds me a lot. Now, I don't think they're exactly similar play style, but Nick Bowers was a guy who probably would have started at about 80% of programs in college football, but he was just always behind a stud while he was at Penn State, mostly Freiermuth. But, I kind of think about that. Like if he would have got his shot as the full-time guy, I don't know if he's still in the NFL, but he was in the NFL for a decent bit as someone who never started in college football. So I think Dinkins could be on a similar path that Nick Bowers was. There's something that came to mind for me. Those guys kind of similar career path trajectory there.
Yeah.
All right. Now we get to talk about the offensive line. And for as long as we've been doing this show and as long as I've pretty much been running the Twitter, every time we talk about the offensive line, it was never really in a positive sense. Well, that's completely different now. This might be the best offensive line group in the country. Spoiler alert, they did come in at number 1 on our position power rankings, which I will explain a little later. But they got 7 or 8 guys that could legitimately start with about 2 or 3 more guys that could probably get in there if needed. I know on here it is Cooper Cousins starting at right guard. It really sounds like Anthony Donko is going to start at right guard, and they're going to move Cooper Cousins, quote unquote, to the bench. When they go to 6-man personnel, he'll be in there. I could see him lining up in the backfield because he's very athletic as kind of a fullback lead blocker. I think they're going to get creative with him. But yeah, this starting group is legit. You could see next to the eligibility there, Drew Shelton, senior, Big Ione, redshirt junior, Nick Dawkins, 6th year. When Donko's in there, that's a redshirt sophomore, and Rucci's a 5th year. It's an experienced group. It's a group that played extremely well together down the stretch against the best competition they played, just going from Oregon in the Big Ten Championship through Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. This group is exciting, and we've never really had this combination of great offensive line and great running back at the same time, pretty much as long as I've been alive. Evan Royster is Penn State's all-time leading rusher. A lot of that had to do with the offensive line that he had in front of him. And then we had, guys like Saquon and Miles Sanders, who are extremely, extremely talented, but the lines just weren't good for them. We're at the point now where you have the combination of the line you want and the running backs you want. And that really excites me. And I think, these guys are why health pending, why Singleton and Allen will be 1 and 2. You could pick which one be which on top of Penn State's rushing leaderboard at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, looking at our offensive line, like you said, I mean, everybody that's on there is so experienced and coming back from last year. But like you said, like just looking at it, like senior, redshirt, junior, senior, sophomore, senior, but that's our like whole offense. Like this is like the year for us if we want to do anything. And we're making everybody came back for that reason. Like Singleton senior, Allen senior, Drew senior, all of our wide receivers that transferred here are seniors. For the whole point of us to come back and compete for a national championship. And we finally do have the full team to do it, and the most throughout all positions on offense. I'm not confident in one position. I mean, still would be wide receiver, just because we've gotten so many transferred where you have to see it to believe it, type of thing for us. But all of them have proved it in games, just haven't proved it in Penn State uniforms yet. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But this offensive line is probably the best in the country. If not, it's 2 or 3, and it's right there. And all of them will probably get drafted in some sort of way. So, I mean, yeah, it's exciting. And, with Singleton and Allen back, and it's what you were talking about with, the record and how they both can get it and they're splitting carries. That's just crazy to think about. If one just took over, they would easily get the record.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So a podcast I like to listen to is the Blue and White Brothers, and they talked about that. They were doing their offensive preview too. And they were talking about that combined, if you just combined what those two guys did last year, it's 2,200 yards and I think 20 rushing touchdowns. You know what I mean? If they just had one bell cow now, sure, I think someone else would be rotated in there a little more. But you're looking at someone going for 1,800 yards and at least 15 touchdowns if it was just one of them. So it does show, one, how good this offensive line has become, but also, two, the talent of Singleton and Allen and the fact that they're both unselfish players. And, they know that there's life after college football for them in the pros. And, getting run into the ground in college isn't the best thing. We see a lot of stars in college just not perform well in the NFL because they had too much mileage on them. These guys are understanding that splitting carries is going to help them in the long run. And, it's great for Penn State. All right, let's move on to defense now, because we know Jim Knowles is in here. The entire assistant pool is back. I'm a little all over the place with this defense. I like the starters. I think the starting 11 is really freaking good. There's spots where I'm concerned about the depth, and we're going to start with defensive end. Denai Dennis Sutton, we saw what he did in the Orange Bowl. It was kind of his coming out party on the national stage. Amazing. I'm interested to see how he does now that he's the number one guy. In the past, he had guys like Adisa Isaac, Chop Robinson, Bill Carter also out there. He's now the guy. I'm interested to see how he does when he's the one that the offense is, bringing the extra guy to block. That's something that we got to see how that goes. But outside of him, man, with the Max Granville injury, I don't know. Nye White is a D tackle, by the way, now, so he's not even there. Like, you're looking at Dennis Sutton, Zariah Fisher, who was a highly regarded recruit, just has not been able to stay on the field due to injuries. And then, I mean, it's all over the place, man. You know, we talked about Coleman. Coleman's been getting hyped up as a true freshman. I mean, true freshmen are going to play in this group. Him and Kamaju will get in there. Jalen Harvey is going to get in there. You know, it's very much of these guys could be really freaking good a year or two from now. But Penn State kind of needs them to be something right away. And I'm a little nervous to see how that's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Deny. Deny. I really like Fisher. I know he's been hurt, but like I think he's going to be really good for us this year across from Deny. So I think, yeah, like you said, our starters will be good, but yeah, other than Coleman, I mean Gilman, they can be good. Now, can they be good this year? I don't know. But like they're definitely talented, but yeah, like they're so young. Like we're kind of screwed if one person goes down there. And if they go down early too. Like yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little worrisome, especially with even defensive tackle like Alonzo Ford, he did do well in the end of the season. If he continues to play that way, yeah, that'll be great and it'll be good. But he also didn't play that well sometimes either, so that's like still a little iffy too. And he's a starter, so I don't know. Our D line's definitely a little bit more questionable than we've had in the past years for a while here.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the thing with Ford is he was playing very well up until he got hurt in that Minnesota game, and then he's out for the year. And, you know, I worry about what he looks like coming off of what I assume was an ACL injury. Like, remember when PJ Mustipher tore his ACL and he came back, he just was not the same guy. Like, that's a lot of weight to carry on an injured knee. Yeah. That worries me. You know, I don't know if Owen Wafel's ready to go. They kind of brought him in as more of a project and to get his brother here, which that didn't happen. That's a story for a different time. We won't get into that. But, you know, Xavier Gilliam, they're kind of high on him. Can you trust him? Maybe. Cook's there. Landing artists. There's a lot of bodies. I don't know if we're ready with any of these guys. You know, Liam Andrews. The bodies are there. I don't know. I really don't know with these guys. I hope I don't have to find out. Now, obviously, they're going to get in there. Penn State loves to rotate their D linemen. These guys are going to get experience. It helps that Penn State is practically playing a preseason to start the year. These guys are going to play. And I'm protecting Deni Dedison and Zane Durant as much as I possibly can this first month of the season because I cannot lose one of those two guys. It just can't happen. You know, Deni Dedison's probably a first-round pick. Zane Durant is extremely talented. Probably doesn't have the size to be a first-round pick, though, that the NFL is going to look for. But the talent is there to be a first-round pick. I got to protect them, and I got to see what I have with the rest of this group because, you know, unfortunately, this isn't the pros. You can't make any trades in the middle of the season.
Not yet.
But, yeah, this is a lot of relying on young guys. And, you know, this is a huge year for Penn State. This is the best shot they have to win the Natty in a while. And I would just hate for that to get derailed because we lose one of these star defensive linemen that we're relying on.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of our whole defense, to be honest. Yeah, we'll get there, though.
Yeah, I mean, on a linebacker, they brought in Amari Campbell from UNC, who I believe was their leading tackler last year. Tony Rojas is back. The shoulder injury seems to be a thing of the past, which is great because Landon has pointed this out many times that Rojas's missed tackle rate was really, really bad. And it was just because he couldn't wrap guys up. His shoulder was so messed up. So we know he's a freak athlete. We saw that pick 6 against SMU.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The dude has star potential. It's about staying healthy. And I think him and Campbell are an intriguing option. Dom DeLuca, a glue guy, you know, great to have him back. But then behind those three, it's kind of like the other ones. It's a mixed bag. Like, what is Specca? What is Keon Wiley coming off of injuries? Dakari Nelson was a safety, and now he's an outside backer. What are these guys? It's time to find out with some guys, and I'm going to say this a lot. I love the starting 11. I am worried about the depth of this defense because it's not where it's been. And linebacker, love the starters, love DeLuca. After that, I'm like, man, what are we really looking at here? Because I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, no, Rojas, I've heard, and Campbell both been really good in camp, and we can already seen how Rojas can be when healthy. Campbell, I didn't really watch too much at UNC. I can't really say I watched the ACC like that often, but like I've heard he's been really good in camp, and I saw his stats at UNC, and he looks like he can be really good. So as long as he's playing like he can, I'm pretty sure he's going to be like leading our defense or calling the plays or whatever. And then DeLuca, yeah, I mean, he's been here for so long. I mean, he makes plays when he needs to, and he's so. Hold on, sorry.
I'm good.
And then I really like Wiley, but I guess we'll see. Like he was hurt, so we really don't know how good he is yet. But like he was getting so much hype before he got hurt last year. Like he was going to be that guy as the second role for us, or even kind of taking over for DeLuca, but end up getting injured. So I mean, but he's third team on here. It says right now. So I mean, I don't know if he's still kind of recovering a little bit. And then like LeVar, I mean, he's a freshman, but I've heard great things about him. I don't know if he's going to get much playing time, but we'll see. But yeah, like once again, right there, those are two biggest issues. I mean, our starters are great for D line and linebackers, but two key players go down in both those positions, you're screwed.
Yeah, I mean,
a whole different season.
Yeah, protecting these starters is incredibly important. Yeah, I don't know. Like they have not really recruited the linebacker position as well as we would have liked the last couple of years, and now you're kind of in this situation. I know Tamir Robinson got up and transferred. I don't know. Are they bringing Amari Campbell in though? If Tamir Robinson is here, so are you in the same position anyway? And I think Robinson was more of a project, whereas Amari Campbell's here as a finished product. Another mercenary in a sense. So, I don't trade off there, but I'm interested to see how that goes. All right, let's get a little more positive because the cornerback room is really good and it's actually deep. You got Elliott Washington, AJ Harris, who we hope can finally be that first round pick at corner for Penn State. Zion Tracy, who had the big, at the time, pick 6 in the Ohio State game. Davian Collins, who came on strong at the end of last year. And then you got some intriguing young options behind them. Darius Dixon, Kenny Wosley. I'm not remotely concerned about the cornerback position. They got bodies. They got talent. I think this is – Penn State's always usually had a good corner or two. This is the best corner group that I can remember, though.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the best and deepest part of our defense, I think, personally. I mean, yeah, AJ Harris getting a lot of hype right now. I think he was good last year. He definitely can be better. Zion Tracy, I really like. He's really athletic, but he's definitely wasn't super consistent. He still has a lot of room to improve. But yeah, I mean, our starters again, I really like, and we're pretty deep too. And I mean, this has been one of our most consistent. It went from being our worst parts of our defense from like the 2017 year and like 2016 and 2018 are not being pretty mid and like losing us games to being like the best part of our defense now. And I know Jim Knowles even said, I don't know, I mean, he's probably just saying it, but he's saying like Terry Smith was like the best coordinator he's been with. And like he was at Ohio State. So, I mean, it's definitely saying something. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see. I really like AJ Harris. I mean, we need these types of corners to be elite, to beat Oregon, to beat Ohio State.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
everybody on your team, and that's Ohio State's weapons. We can usually stop the run versus anybody.
Mhm.
It's always the wide receivers that get us, and Jeremiah Smith is again another insane wide receiver that we're at to stop. So
Yeah, another thing with the Ohio State receiver, it seems like every year I'm saying this guy actually might be the best they've ever had.
yep.
The newest one is always better than the last one. It's insane. But yeah, I mean, when you play Ohio State, who is practically fielding an NFL receiving core, you need to have a cornerback room as good as this one. And Franklin, I think, has known that for a long time. And I think he's finally found the room that can do that. And shout out to him, Collins and Harris, big time transfers, bringing them in here, recruiting guys like Elliott Washington out of Florida, Zion Tracy. They did what they needed to do to put this group in a good spot. So, I mean, props to them. I really like the cornerback room headed into the season. Unfortunately, safety is the same as the rest of this defense. You love Wheatley. You think Lane could play a little bit. King Mack is back. Outside of that, once again, I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. I mean, Wheatley is a stud ball hawk. Mack and Lane combined will handle the other position just fine. But outside of that, I don't think anyone else has played.
Yeah, no, same old thing. I mean, Wheatley is really good. He'll be really good for us. And then Lane, I've heard, has been good. He's played a little bit. It's shown flashes. And King Mack, I mean, isn't really played at all either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's the same thing for 3 position groups on our defense. If one starter goes down, we have a question mark that's going to get attacked. So, I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's the same. It's kind of the whole roster, though. Like I was trying to say, like our quarterback, other than running back and corners, running back, corner, and tight end, and I guess actually not. Or I guess not our whole all team, but still, the decent amount of our team where 2 people go down, we have a serious issue all around.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this. To me, Drew Allar's the most valuable player on this team in terms of cannot lose him. But
Yeah,
then for me, 2 through 5 is all on defense. Dennis Sutton, Durant, Rojas, and Wheatley. You can't lose any of those 4.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I gotta see your wide receivers too, because if one's like way better than everybody else, then if he goes down, that could screw us. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Drew's definitely the most important. I mean, he still has room to improve. Hopefully, he'll be elite with the wide receivers we got him. But yeah,
Yeah, the only
everybody
issue
else
with
is on
that is
defense.
the drop off from Drew to second string is the most dramatic, I think, of any position on the roster. A safety would be second to me, from starter to second team. So yeah, you just can't lose those guys. All right, let's quickly touch on special teams. Penn State got all their specialists back, which is sick. It's not something you really think about, but it's important. Ryan Barker, who took over as the kicker in early October last year, is back. Riley Thompson, I think he had to get a waiver to come back, but he's back as the punter. Gabe Nwosu back as the kickoff specialist. Tyler Dzansky back as the long snapper, which matters too. There's teams that struggle with that position. And then, as you kind of brought up, you got Ross that could come in and be the punt returner. They have Saunders listed here. This is not updated with his injury. I think Trevor Pena will be in there as well. And then we know Singleton could be electric in the kick game. And Quinn and Martin, and I think some of the other running backs will start to get an extended role in there as well. But I like this group. I don't think any of the kickers or punters are going to be pros, but I think that they do a solid enough job. They do what you ask them to do. They punt the ball at least 40 yards. They make every kick inside of 40. They get touchbacks on the kickoffs. I'm interested to see if we could take that next level in the return game with the athletes we now have back there.
Yeah, and I mean, you touched on it a little bit. I mean, this is extremely important. I mean, we got everybody back. It's not really talked about, but that is extremely huge for those part. I mean, special teams is a huge part of the game, and getting everybody back that's played together and just been on the team. And I mean, no one was bad last year. I mean, I don't know how much I like Riley Thompson. He was questionable at times, punting. He had a
Uh-huh.
few really bad games, but like overall, he was decent. I mean, he did his job, like you said. Ryan Barker definitely, once he got the start, we definitely improved a lot kicking wise. So I like him a lot. And then, like, yeah, we need to use the return game. I mean, when we had Saquon, like, just scoring, like, off a kickoff just takes so much pressure off your offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah, with Devontae Ross and how he was returning at Troy, I mean, he looks like a great option. And then Pena too. I mean, did it at Syracuse. It should be by committee. I mean, you kind of want someone who's electric that also isn't really a key player to your team. Because like
Right.
having Singleton out there is nice, but then also that's an extra play where he could go down
Mm-hmm.
or any of those wide receivers. So, but yeah, I mean, special team did. No one really talks about it, but it's really big that we got everybody back together.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we could clear that off. Oh, is it going to put us back on here? There we go. I don't know what the hell that was all about. Oh, hang on, you'll be back. They've changed this so much. This is crazy. There we go. All right. So we went through all the positions. Now we did this a couple years ago, the position power rankings. So I changed it up a little bit this year. I asked a bunch of people to rank the units twice, once based off of depth, once based off of talent. I took the average ranking between the two, combined them, divided it by 2 to get what their average rank was, and that's how I made the power rankings. Kind of confusing, but made sense to me. So that's what we got. At 10, we have safety, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about. We really like Wheatley. Outside of him, what do you have? I don't know. It's tough to say. 9 was defensive tackle, kind of the same thing. We love Zane Durant. Alonzo Ford is a little bit of a question mark with the injury. Outside of them, I don't know. 8 was linebacker. I thought linebacker could have been a little higher. I think the depth is an issue. I like the front end talent with Campbell, Rojas, DeLuca. It really comes down to is Specker, Wiley. Are any of those guys really a dude? We're going to find out this year, but I think that unit has a chance to improve. 7 was receiver. I think that's a fair spot for them just because we don't really know all we have there yet. They graded out both 7th in depth and talent. So, kind of across the board there with what we thought we were going to get from them. 6 was defensive end. They were 10th in depth, actually. And they were 5th in talent, which I think makes a lot of sense because there are a lot of guys there, but none of them have played. And Coleman in this group, Harvey, Granville when healthy, Kamaju, like these guys got talent. We just don't know what the hell they look like. So, to me, that one makes a lot of sense to have them at 6 in the rankings. I'd maybe put them a little higher depth-wise, but I think overall that made sense. 5 was quarterback. Drew's talent kind of brought this up a lot more because there's not a ton of depth there. But, I think there's some faith in Gronkmeyer eventually, which is why they came in at 5. 4 was tight end. Pretty fair. I think that this got skewed a little bit because someone had them 9th in talent, which I don't agree with.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and the one guy just totally screwed the algorithm. So they ended up 6th in talent. They were 4th in depth. So they come in here with an overall grade of 4. But I don't think they would have gotten higher, but that was just bizarre to me.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, 3 was corner. That makes sense to both of us. That is the strongest group on the defense. So them coming in at 3 overall. Makes sense. And this is where it got interesting. It came down to pretty much a decimal between running back and offensive line, but running back comes in at 2. They were second in depth, first in talent with their overall grade of a 2. And it did come down to a fraction. O-line was first in depth and second in talent. So they came in at number 1 overall. So that's what we got with the power rankings. I don't really disagree with anything on there. This wasn't just my opinion. I brought in a bunch of outside sources, found an average. This is what we came up with. But that's what I have for the Penn State position groups for this season.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly agree with most of that. I think running backs would still be first for me. And then O-line would be second, just because their running backs are so elite. And I think they're going to be – because I think we're going to be exactly what Michigan was, how they won their national championship. We're going to be a run-first team, and we're just going to just pound the ball right down people's throats until you have to make us throw the ball on a 3rd and 6 or something. And then we're just going to use their weapons that we got. So, I mean, yeah, I think running backs first, O-line second, corners third, tight ends 4. I'm trying to think who else. I really like our wide receivers. I mean, but they're not – I haven't seen them play, but I think I'd put them 5. Yeah. I like them. I do like who we got. I mean, Pena's been proven at Syracuse. I mean, yeah, it's ACC, but he still was a very elite wide receiver and still a Power 4 conference. So, I mean, he's proven. And then Ross, I think, will be good, and Hudson will be good. So, I mean, I think our wide receivers will be up there. I guess DN might be better. I mean, he showed late in the season, but I don't know how much I still fully trust him. Like, we've had people that, we're just proven and elite, like Chop, Abdul, Micah, Adiza Isaac. Everybody we've had there has kind of been proven. And Denai did prove himself in the end of the year, but I still think he has a lot that he's still kind of, newer. He was, I don't know, he just wasn't a big piece of our defense. I guess I should, I don't know. I'm wording it kind of wrong, but if you know what I mean. But our DMs I still don't fully trust, and linebackers. So yeah, our defense with Jim Knowles, I mean, we'll see what happens here. We have a very elite starting 11, like you said, but after that, it's kind of very risky. If someone goes down, we're gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough once someone goes down, and I mean, it's nice that we got 3 easy games to start off the season, so we have to be very careful. But, I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think quarterback, honestly, I still don't fully trust Drew. I might be the only person. But, I mean, he has had weapons. He has the talent, obviously. But, I know, in the Notre Dame game, wide receivers never catch. But, that last throw still, I'm just what are you doing? There's still question,
he didn't play good overall in that game. He missed Singleton on a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He still has a lot to prove to me, and I think most of the world, because most of the world hates us and doesn't really trust us. Because I do blame him though, because every year we get we'll be top 5, and then we still lose to the same old people. So at some point we have to win to shut them up. Can't really get mad about people doing that. But yeah, we'll see. This is the most hyped team I think I've seen, other than 2017. But even that, I think this is the team that kind of we're separating ourselves from a lot of the teams. 2017, that team was elite, but I think there was also other elite teams that could match or play. I think this year we're above a lot of 98% of the teams. So now it's a lot of pressure on us because we would lose the teams because we didn't have the talent, but now we have the talent. So now, and probably the best coordinating group in the country. So there's not too many excuses we have.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Other than if someone gets injured, like we said, if someone gets injured, then we're kind of screwed. But if we stay healthy, this is the year for whatever we want to do. Especially because we just said we have no depth and they're all young. So next year it's just going to be all projects playing.
Yeah, next year will be interesting. We'll worry about that when we get there. But
Yeah.
we'll be back next week with the actual season preview. But thanks for watching the position breakdown.